Hey, happy Monday. I am going to be adding a good friend of mine on here today. Let's get her out. Ever with somebody, so it's going to be fun to do a collab with her. She's been a really good friend of mine since probably 2020. I actually met her in a women's group, and the power of networking to be the powers of it was really fantastic. Like, we just connected and we've stayed in touch, and she's been everything from a mentor, a bestie, a client, to somebody that I just run with on a daily basis. She's just a really fantastic person. So we're just going to wait for her to jump on here. She's coming in live from Kentucky, which I don't know if there's a lot of people in Kentucky, but she is. And so she should be jumping on here any second. We're just getting her on. So we're really excited to kind of be doing this. I told her that I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to go live more, and it's out of my comfort zone because I really don't like doing it. And here she is, like, we're just going to do it together because it's more fun to do it together, right? I'm going to accept her. And then we're going to come talk to you guys about all the things self-care and business. What? Oh my God. Hi,
Hi.
Sarah.
I feel like I look like a head, but that's okay. I'm
Just be
trying to
a
adjust.
sexy mamacita head. You're a fur mamacita head.
Ooh, I'm not liking this angle, but that's okay. Not the point of the video.
You
Good
know what?
morning,
There's
coffee cheers.
there, there's so many things that we could pick apart when we come on these lives that we don't like, right? Like, I just threw in another bookshelf. I don't know if you noticed, I added more books to my collection. However,
Yes.
what I really don't like is that crack. It's really bugging me, but I can't do
Oh,
nothing about it
no.
because my floor is not even. So I have to control what I can control, right?
What's so funny is that, again, wouldn't have even noticed. I love the the colorology that you have done with your bookcase. Like, it blows my
Thank
mind.
you.
All of my books are in Kindle. Like, I have probably that many books in Kindle form, so I don't get to have a library like that. So I love looking at yours.
Yeah.
But that is so true. And I have been working on this negative mindset that
Mm,
we kind of pick apart ourselves because
yeah.
it's so easy for us to see. Because when we're really looking at who we are from the outside, we see all the flaws. I don't
Mhm.
know. I feel like I've been like this since I was a child. It was an early defense mechanism to bullying, and I've done some research and homework on myself about that. And I know we're here today to talk about getting ready for the week, but
We can talk
you
about whatever.
nailed it. You nailed it when you
It's our
said,
show.
yes, it's true. But you nailed it when you said, like, you see these things that you think are imperfections and flaws, but
Mhm.
they're not. Like, I would have never noticed it until you pointed it out. And one of the big things that I do is focus flows where intention goes. So if you're intentionally focusing on all the flaws, guess what? That's where all your focus is going to go.
I
One thing
know.
that I don't know if I've shared this with you, but that I've really started doing lately is picking something for the day or maybe
Mhm.
even the week that I can observe,
Yeah.
be it an animal, a color, and I just try and tap into it, kind of like my own inner scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
and just play around with, okay, if I'm, wanting to feel happy, what makes me happy? I would like to see butterflies today. Where can I see butterflies? And then let the show up magically.
Yeah.
And it really rewires your brain that, oh, when I ask to see something, that's exactly what I'm seeing. So
Yeah.
don't ask to see the flaws. Look at, oh, my beautiful
Yeah.
book collection.
It's so true. It's like there's a psychological word for it, and you would think that my brain would remember this right now, but it doesn't, right? But there's it's a thing. Like, when you buy a red Jeep, you've never looked at a red Jeep before, but then all of a sudden you get one, then all of a sudden you see them everywhere, right?
Mhm. Yes.
It's the
Like
same
when you
thing. What is
start
that
thinking
called?
about, like,
Somebody will
oh, I
know
think I
down
would like
here.
a red, yeah, I think I would like a red
Yeah.
Jeep. And then all of a sudden you see it and you buy it and that's all you can see.
Hmm.
And apparently I learned this Jeep people have like their own special wave that they have to do. Like, it's a Jeep thing.
I just got a Jeep. What am I
And
supposed to be doing? I don't know.
You'll have to look that one up.
Shoot.
I remember that there is a Jeep wave, but I don't remember what the Jeep wave is. It's kind of
Mine's
like
like
it's a
this,
Jeep thing. Yeah, that's so fun. So
the awkward wave.
you're in Illinois now. I
Yeah,
keep wanting to say Indiana, but you're in Illinois now. And
yeah,
being in Kentucky, so do people wave up there when you pass them?
they do.
Okay,
Yeah, they do. And they're
I
like,
thought so.
hey, and smile, which is great because I grew up in Arkansas for a little while. So I was kind of trained to live here in the Midwest because you don't do that on the West
Yes,
Coast.
that's what
It
I was
is
gonna say.
like,
Yep.
if you're waving, there's probably danger 5 feet above. So you better like prepare yourself. But here in the Midwest, everyone's just like nods and
hmm
waves and it's a friendliness and I like it. I
When
like it. I feel like it suits my personality.
Oh, absolutely. When I lived in Ohio, I was such a waiver, and my friends and stuff, and my ex were always like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "This is
Kindness.
not a thing." Like,
Yeah.
um, it is really eye-opening when you go to different towns, even a town over or a state over, and see
Hmm.
that they don't do things the same way or
Yeah.
speak the same. Like I know
It's
my
totally
twang
different.
comes and goes. You don't have much of a twang being from Arkansas either. But
I'm
get
not
me
from
around
there.
my
I just lived there for
cousins.
a while, but I
Okay.
claim that I was there long enough to put a big impression on me.
Oh yeah.
I'm like the surfer who listened to country music. So I was that girl in school, really awkward and not
Yeah.
shy.
Yeah. The surfer who listen to country music. I like that. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
that was me.
I was
But
I was like the opposite. I listened to like alternative and rock and
so
country was
opposite.
ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm from the South, country and small
Yeah, I was sharing
town.
with them before you came on that you're in from Kentucky. I'm not sure if there's
Mhm.
anybody else from Kentucky who, if there is anybody else who actually lives there besides you. But,
There are people here. There are many, many people here.
but,
Um, I was
but you're there, and that's all that matters to me. So,
Oh, I was having this inner story yesterday. I want to share real
yeah,
quick. Just
yeah.
popped in. So yesterday I is 4 months to my 40th birthday. And I had this little
Oh,
I was
it's in
out on the
September,
lake.
right before my
Yeah,
son's, the
yes.
20th.
So 19th, because yesterday was not today's
This
20.
is the 21st. Okay.
So I had this moment of being out on the lake with my parents, my boyfriend, and his kids, and we were talking about something. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 4 months to 40 to the day. And I was like, kind of getting emotionally overwhelmed by it because I've been looking forward to turning 40.
Yes.
But then I was like, I only have 4 months left of my 30s. Like, what am I going to do with myself? What am I going to make of these last 4 months of my 30s? And then I was like, I am not ready for my 40s.
Yeah.
So, this morning I have been working on something that I don't know if I've shared it with you because it's brand new. I've been working on the assumptions we make.
Mm.
And this has
Tell
been
me
a
about that.
daily
Yeah.
this has been a daily practice. So I do want it to be one of the next workbooks. Like I just kind of created, this is my little
Yeah.
page.
And just for you
Um,
guys who don't know, Sarah actually creates amazing workbooks, does master classes, and helps women get over those obstacles for them to be able to start becoming their true
yeah,
self. And that's really what she focuses in on. So if any of the women who are listening to this that come across it later, go follow her at Sarah Fowler Coaching. She'll be able to help you out
please
there.
do. This has been game changing. Now, I think I'm only on day like 6 or 7 of this because I wanted to do a 21-day challenge of the
Mm,
assumptions I have been making
mhm.
about my life and my business. And it's coming full circle. Like we talked about, focus goes where your intention, or yeah, where your
Energy,
intention
right?
is,
Um,
energy.
mhm.
And this chicken scratch handwriting, but I basically wake up with like, um, what's my assumption? Like, how am I feeling today? Yesterday,
Mhm.
reflecting on, oh my God, I only have 4 months to turn 40. What do I want to do? So today, it was kind of like looking at the old stories I tell myself.
Yeah.
And one of those things was being like in small town Kentucky. Like, I feel kind of limited
Mhm.
because of my environment and my placement. But then I kind of looked at it from a different angle. And what's the news story of that? I was like,
Yeah.
where I live gives me so much
Yeah.
joy. Like I think about all the nature and the beauty I literally live on the lake. I consider it lake view because from my office window, I can see the lake. So
Yeah.
it's lake view, even though it's just around the corner. I can walk to it.
Everybody wants
I'm
to live
totally
by
good.
the lake, typically,
Yeah,
or water, any sort of
any
water.
type
So
of water.
that's a huge
And
mindset
that,
shift of small town to at least I have water.
yes,
I'm
I
in the
have water around me,
same
lots of
situation. Yeah.
trees.
Hmm.
Lots of animals. Oh my God, I had a turtle come up in front of my window the other day, this huge
Yeah.
turtle. And I was writing for my workbook, Slow and Steady Wins the Race,
Yeah.
which comes directly from the turtle, tortoise in the hare.
Yeah.
And it was a theme of what I was writing about
Mhm.
slowing down. And then all of a sudden there was
Yeah.
this turtle, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So many little critters. I think
I'm
it
in love with the
needs to
squirrels here. Like I've put out bird feeders and I don't even collect birds, which is crazy because we have like woodpeckers and cardinals and gorgeous birds, but all I get is squirrels and there's four of them. And so they've got names now.
Oh,
And
what are the names?
I don't know. I can't remember
Oh,
anything, but
that's
we
okay.
name them something. The neighbor feeds them and they come up and eat bread like right out of their hand. And it's a different kind of lifestyle for
Oh,
sure. And
yeah.
so I
But
appreciate,
from
I
being in
always
the
like
desert too.
looked far from you and like how cute you have deers in your yard and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And now my
I-
son's in Alaska and he has moose in his yard. And I'm like, I'll stick to my squirrels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want moose.
Well, we have at the top of our roads, so my country road I live on, which is really barely enough for one car, but two car can fit.
Hmm.
Um, we have fox but they don't often come down to my end of the road, so I don't get to see them. But sometimes at night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I saw the fox! Like when they were baby, there was like triplets that we
Hmm.
had on the road. I've only seen
Oh
two in the last couple of years, but
gosh.
outside, I'm at
Mhm.
my boyfriend Adam's house today watching the kids, and he has so many bird feeders and a bird bath and all
Mm.
the squirrels. There was three rabbit and six squirrels the other day that we were just
Yeah,
watching outside, and the birds coming and going. And
cute.
going back to what I was saying was, why would I want to live anywhere else? Like I feel limited in where I live, but where I live, like it lights me. It gives me the energy I need to feel good and have
Yeah,
fun.
you
And so
feel
I
alive.
started.
Yeah,
Yes. So
yeah.
the assumptions I was making about being in a small town were so negative that it was draining me. But
Hmm.
now I'm looking at it through the lens of the news story of I live in the most magical place for me. And
Yeah.
right now it fits everything that I want to create of myself.
Hmm.
And I have all the space I need. And that feels so much better
Hmm.
rewriting that news story
Yeah.
from what I was telling myself just yesterday.
Right.
Um,
Right. So let me ask you, how do you put that? Because you are a newer business owner. You've been trying to figure out for quite a while now, like what it is that you wanted to bring to the market. How did you really want to help people? And through your own experiences and through your own education and through your own fumbling, you've kind of landed at a good spot that you're like, oh, this lights me up and this is what I'm really passionate about. Tell us a little how, like, where you are and like where you're going. And let's kind of like wrap this up to where how can we give some good nuggets here for people
yes.
who are around this path? Because
Love it.
you and I have been on a path together from friend, like I was sharing with him. I'm like, we've been friends, we've been mentors, we've been besties, we've worked together. You've been my coaching client. Like we've worked in all different capacities,
Yes, we
and
have.
probably only snapped at each other like once ever, if we ever did. But
And
that's it.
I actually remember when that happened, and I think I was still living in Ohio at the time because so Cami is amazing with all things business, and we've been in each other's realm for 4 years now.
Mhm.
Like we instantly clicked. I knew she was my soul sister somehow before I even knew that was a thing, and I was just like, I just love Cami. Like,
Yeah.
but Cami is really so good. She's miles ahead of me that I wasn't ready to meet where she was. Myself was not ready to meet Cami where she was at because she knows so much. And I had to really level myself up to meet Cami in that place. It took me quite a while. I mean, there was years of
You,
resistance for me.
you know
Like,
what? It's like me. I know there's books out there that I'm gonna need at some point. So I'll buy the book and I'll keep the book and I'll put it on my
mhm.
bookshelf. And then when I'm ready for it, the book's ready. I'm kind
Yes,
of like your book.
yes. Yes, you are like my resource of the things like anytime I come, I pull Oracle cards. I even brought my little, this is my little holder, and I have brought my decks and stuff, my journals. I put everything in here. So this is like my
Yeah.
travel spiritual cart, if you will, bag. And but for so long, like I was not at a level where I felt confident in myself and my skills that you were at. And it took me so long. And I remember that fight only because that was the moment that I realized I was resisting what my potential was. And you know, they say you are the sum of the five people you keep around you. And
Hmm.
Cami is probably the only person that I have had around me in the last 4 years consistently because I've needed her to, and not needed, but I wanted her. But I also knew her magic that this was a place that I wanted to excel at. It took me some
Hmm.
time, and I've helped you as well with the self-love
Oh
side,
yeah,
but the
it's just
but
I'm a business. I'm
that's
a business. I'm a workaholic. I get
yes.
high off of working and
I'm
producing
trying
things.
to have her come to the lighter
Yeah.
side of rest, which I was
Yeah.
so proud of you for
I
taking a
did
nap
take
this
2 naps
weekend.
this weekend.
Oh,
FYI,
I love
accountability.
this.
Two
If you
naps.
follow
That's
me, I am the nap queen because Cami has this like energizer battery energy that the more she puts in, the more she creates, the more she produces, the more she's able to go. I am the
yeah.
opposite. And that's just me, my personal design, my human
Hmm.
design, which I won't dig deep into, but I don't have that backup reserves. So rest for me actually means more productivity for me
Yeah.
later, which
Hmm.
was a business concept that was super hard because I was constantly trying to be in this hustle with people like Cami that have the sustainable energy that can keep going and keep going and keep going. But that led me to such burnout and exhaustion and brain fog that it wasn't serving my business,
Yeah.
and it wasn't serving me, and it wasn't serving my
Hmm.
clients.
Yeah.
So I've been able to take steps in that
Hmm.
to get me and give myself permission that, hey, I may need to rest, but that means that here in a little bit, I'm going to get double the workload out of myself.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And what I
It took me a while.
love about that is that I had to learn to get out of hustle mode and allow you to be you and appreciate, because one thing I don't think I really realized probably 4 years ago is that for me I was able just to keep running constantly, and I did it because of different mindsets, different environments, different mentalities. Like I have kids, I to me as like I have to work, I have to work, I have to provide, I have to work, I have to provide. Like it's a vicious cycle, right? And it kept going and going and going. Versus you were able to really live for yourself and live for Rascal and live for your family. And you didn't have that
No.
pressure. And it was so nice to be able to balance that and say, oh, I can give my permission to go take a nap. And Sarah's doing it. It's okay. I can let this go and work on myself and help you at the same time. But it was something I had to learn, and I'm still learning it. I still have to check myself sometimes
Oh,
because
I still love that you said that because I have been
Mhm.
where you're on the one end of I have, you have V and you have all the things. You
Mhm.
have a full-time job, you have all of your clients.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, have gone into that insecure mode where I'm like, I don't have a family. I don't have, the responsibilities of a lot of people out there. I am fortunate and blessed. And I took that blessing for granted for so long. And
Mhm.
now that I'm in this space of humble, you know what? I am blessed for a reason
Mhm.
for this time right now to do the work that I'm meant to do, that I strongly feel passionate about, which is helping women to get to know, like, and understand themselves just as we
Mhm.
would our clients. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I was rushing to know everything without having the proper tools to support myself because I didn't know myself.
Yeah.
And the responsibilities that I had, I was actually really undervaluing myself
Mhm.
in the sense that because I didn't have, family or kids, I didn't know the pressure of other women. And I'm like, my dog, not to say it's the same, but
It's
yes,
very
he wakes
similar.
up at
Your
four.
dog and my 10-year-old.
Yes, very different. but I still have challenges that a lot of people don't
No,
like.
but there are
He
a
likes
lot
to
of
wake up.
like. Their
Yeah,
neediness
he
is a lot
wakes
of
up at
like.
4
Yeah.
a.m. and wants to be potty, wants to go outside. You know, when I'm in the middle of working, like, and I'm in like a good zone and good thought, or even when I'm in my Oracle spread and I'm like getting all the messages, he's got to go pee. He wants food. He wants to play. And I can't just be like, wait.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, mom, now.
Yeah.
Um, so I still have obstacles and struggles. They're just different. And I was looking at them from a lens of not as important to working moms because they are
Mm-hmm.
different.
Yeah.
But I was devaluing my sense of self and all the obstacles that are there for me. And so you can kind of switch that lens. And
Yeah.
this
I
is
feel like
about
I have a
knowing
million
yourself.
obstacles.
Yeah,
I feel like I
you
have a million
do.
obstacles, you know?
You really do.
Yeah.
But you've been doing so well. Like I've watched you handle them
Yeah.
because you're so resourceful
Mm-hmm.
and you are really good at time management.
Mm-hmm.
So good at time management. You know what needs to get done and go on. But like me, if you're a new business starting out, there's so much little details that get me so stuck and just completely paralyzed. Like, I don't know what to do with this. I need to do this, but I have all the things. So one thing I've been working on is my own intentions and priorities. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when we're small business owners
Mm-hmm.
or just getting started, the list is endless. There's
Forever.
even if you are flexible like me and have 24/7 to do whatever you want, there is so much demand to get everything done and
Yeah.
everything done for
Because
ourselves,
you wear all
right?
the hats. Like you wear
Yes.
all the hats.
Yes.
You're everything. And so
And
the
we're
need
also
and the
the
want.
students. Like we
Yeah.
need the teacher to lead
Yeah.
us. So we have to
Yeah.
learn all the things. So the pressure with that becomes so much greater than the work that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I have had to ask for help. Like how many times have I come
Mm-hmm.
to you lately? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I have to stop being stubborn and have to find my way around. There is a solution out there.
Yeah.
If I'm not finding it, who can help me?
Yep.
9 times out of 10, it's Cammy. Let me tell you. Um,
Sometimes.
she's taught me
No.
Google, which is a whole nother conversation for another day. Me and Google do
We
not
won't
see eye
get
to
there
eye.
today.
Yeah.
But oh boy, should we? We should. That's our next
Yes.
conversation. Okay. Yeah.
Google tutorial.
Yeah. Google and search engines and how to search for things. This is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's so I even said it the other day. I'm like, my list is endless, but there's a difference. There's a line drawn between my needs and my wants, right? Like
Um,
it's going to keep adding and adding and adding. But if I and I work with a lot of women who are ADHD. They're squirrely, they have a hard time focusing, and they're just like, I need something to help me be productive, and they need something that's going to allow them to feel like they're succeeding at the same time every day when they lay their head down. And I feel like that a lot. Like my list can be very large, but yet I focus on like those top like 3 to 6 priorities, so that way I'm like, ooh, I did it. Oh, I did it again. Yeah, I did. you know that was a little, but you know what I mean? Like I need
yes.
that, so that way I don't look at that big long list and I'm not like overwhelmed. Like, yeah, I only got 6 of my 1,000 things done today. Like, I'm a loser.
No.
Like, nobody, and so when you take it and you bite it down, when you break it down into like bite size, like these are my top priorities today or my low hanging fruit, that's what I've really worked with not only you on, but I've worked with that on all of these other women too, because it really does flip the mindset. It's the half cup, half empty, half full kind of mindset in there. It's like, damn, I did 6 freaking things today. And they were big
Yes.
things. They were big things. And now I can sleep restful. And I don't have to sit there and lay down and think, "Ugh, I only got 6 things done." But wow, I got all 6 of my things done.
There's something that I want to add to this too,
Yeah.
because I have been in the spiral of so many things and overwhelm, and everything feels important and a priority. How do you prioritize when your list is so long and epic
Hmm.
that it all feels important and it all feels like it has to be done? And this is
Hmm.
really a part of you knowing you and what you want.
Yeah.
And if beginners like me, I totally understand this frustration because I'm like, okay, I want to have everything done and perfect, but I need to do all of this and the list is this, and then I just get overwhelmed by the list.
Yeah.
For me, I only do a list when I do a brain dump. Now, if you're someone that needs that list to be accountable, that's awesome and amazing because you're like Cammie, she can knock it out. But somebody gives me a list and I suddenly feel overwhelmed. I feel exhausted. I feel like I can't. But what I do is a brain dump of all that I'm feeling around it. And then I know myself well enough to say, okay, my priority and the places that I want to go are this.
Yeah.
So maybe today I just focus on this. And I really work hard to celebrate the small wins
Hmm.
because maybe I only got a third done, but it's a third done more than I
Yeah.
had when I started the day.
Yeah.
And I really have to go back and celebrate. Remember that time? It's so embarrassing. But even brushing my teeth because I had been stagnant at home, not really leaving the house very often. And I did have to put a little post-it note in my bathroom and put morning and evening, did I brush my teeth for 30
Yeah.
days to really help me become accountable. This is sad as an adult, but because my
Hmm.
days blur together, especially when I get up at 4 a.m., go back to bed around 6 a.m., get up around 9 or 10 a.m. And I'm like, did I brush my teeth in that 4 a.m. time
Yeah.
spot? That's just me. So
Yeah.
going through and looking at, okay, what is most important that I accomplished today? If I can only get that one thing done, is that okay? The rest will be there tomorrow. There's always going to be something to do
For sure.
tomorrow. And
Hmm.
the little steps you make today are
Yeah.
going to help yourself tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that really I was like, okay, whatever I can do today to help myself tomorrow to set myself up, but I am working on that magical piece for people like me that can't have that checklist structure. I'm working on something that works for all of us that
Yeah.
can be like, okay, if I need a list, here it is. If I don't need a list, maybe I can just write out something to get it
Yeah.
off my brain and on paper and go do something else. So
Yeah.
there's some flexibility with that.
That's awesome. I remember my very first consulting company I was working with, and the master coach came to me and taught me a technique. And it was, even though I had gone through school and I learned all these different, like, really cool, smart productivity management skills and tools, he dumbed it down so easily that I've never gone back to any of the things that I learned in college, you guys. Okay. So it's so simple. You pull up an Excel sheet and you put who, what, when at the very top. That's it. Who's going to do it? What is it? When it's going to be done? That's
Love
it.
it.
And, and it could be as easy as, okay, I'm going to write, I'm going to design this guide. Okay, and this
Mhm.
guide is going to be for women who want to be able to prioritize themselves, right? Okay, great. So that's what I'm going to do. But to be able to do that, there's all of these little things that are inside of it, which is design it, copy, edit, add images, mark it. There's all these little things. So we take that Excel sheet. What I love about this is that each line is a step.
Mhm.
And so as I broke it down, and I use this with my clients still to this day, I'm pretty damn sure I've even used this with you at
Oh,
some
this is
point.
this is jogging my memory.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I did this with you with readiness
Yeah.
planning because literally it's just like step by step by step. And then I can go through and say, okay, great, this is my very top thing that I'm working on, right? But I have to do all of these things. And maybe you have to outsource. And that's why the who is there, right? So maybe this is Cammie's responsibility or Sarah's responsibility or Joe's responsibility, or you know what, things prioritize so we can strike through it, right? And I loved that. And it's been able to help me with a brand new business all the way up to like $30 million companies because at the end of the day, everybody has a hard time getting things done and knowing what to do next.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I love that you said that. And getting the things done as I've been doing this whole process and this venture, learning what I'm good at, learning what I need to improve on, and learning what I
Yeah.
actually want to continue doing has been so eye-opening. So there are so many things like I did not realize how much I was going to fall even more in love with writing and creating content.
Hmm.
And it has been so amazing. I'm like,
Hashtag
oh, this
pivot
is
queen.
yes.
I love
Um,
it.
and
You're
and then
knowing yourself better, which is what this
yes,
entire thing is labeled, which is self-care and business. It's because you're getting to know yourself better by the work
and
you're already doing. I
and
love it.
when you get to know yourself and those things that you really like,
Yeah.
and you realize those things you really don't like I hate email, lead magnets, funnels. Ugh. Like that is the piece that I am stuck on
Yeah.
because that's the piece that I don't know the best, that I don't have fun with, that
Yeah.
but tell me to create, a post or a graphic. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm available. I love it. So it's so
Mhm.
funny as you get to know yourself and explore. I actually gave myself permission, I think it was last year, to just kind of be an explorer of myself and try
Mhm.
things. Like I had told myself for years, this is very random, that I hated tomatoes. Then I was like, do I actually
Mhm.
hate tomatoes? And I was working down at the dock for the lake last a couple of summers ago, 2022, chopping onions, chopping tomatoes. I never thought I would be able to chop things in my life, and my mom loves the way I chop tomatoes today. But anyway, I was like, I don't know if I like tomatoes, so I just ate one and was like, I could take them or leave them. But I had this mindset of stuckness that I didn't like them, but I hadn't tried them. So from that experience, I allowed myself to be an explorer for the last couple of years and being like, what if instead of telling myself I don't like it, what if I just try it and see what happens? Because we can change and we evolve over time. So the things that we liked as children may still be good for us today, but we may not.
So you
And
mean I
so when
should
you give
eat those
yourself,
black-eyed peas that I never wanted to eat in elementary school? I mean, I'm pretty sure they were looking at me. I don't think as an adult I'm gonna like them. I am pretty sure I made my mind up in like kindergarten. It's not gonna be good.
but
Those
try
black-eyed peas.
them and see. I'm with you on the black eyed peas, but you never know. Like if you never know until you
Yeah.
know,
Maybe I can
right?
make them
That's another
refried.
thing. I had to
There was some hot
really give
sauce.
myself I had to really give myself permission for I don't know what I don't know
That's
until
true.
I know it.
It's very
And
true.
there's
Yeah.
so much learning. And
I did that
you
with fish
saw,
actually because I
yeah,
started getting some health problems.
yeah,
It started becoming hard for me to digest red meats. So I started eating more pescatarian and I was like, I don't know how to cook fish. I don't know if I even like fish. I don't know what to do. But I found a few recipes and I started adding it into my diet and now I probably eat fish or seafood of some sort probably 5 times a week. So
that's
you
amazing.
never freaking know. And I have no more digestive problems. Hey.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So, totally off subject, but my boyfriend's kids, they're 17 and 12, two boys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of testosterone, let me
Hmm.
tell you. But even his 12-year-old has such a sophisticated palate, like it impresses me. Anytime we go out
That's
to
cool.
eat, he orders like, he loves seafood. He's like, I would like, I can't remember. I think it was clams that he ordered somewhere. He was like, I would like them half shelled and oat. And I was just like, he's 12. And I'm like, I would like the chicken finger basket, please, with French fries,
I've eaten with you. I know
Yes.
exactly how you.
I had to really push myself out of my
Yeah.
comfort zone
Yeah.
sometimes because of the things that I'm like, I like the
Hmm.
familiar. And
Hmm.
these are areas that I push myself out of. I'm like, okay, I'll try a bite. I actually tried sushi for the first time and it was eel. Wasn't terrible. I'm not going to go order it, but you don't know until you
You
know,
also ate
right?
my queso, which you were really
I
hesitant to
am
do because
still
I am like
dying
the queso
for.
queen, and anybody who's came to my home has always had queso. It's my number one thing people ask me to bring to parties. And you were very brave coming from the Midwest, not liking a lot of spice, definitely not like to try new things, and you did it. You
It was
did
so
push
good.
all the peppers, I think, to the side, but you ate it.
I wanted, well, they weren't peppers. I later learned they were jalapenos. And I was like, oh my God, you're feeding me jalapenos. But I was
You're,
like,
you're
this is
lucky they weren't
good.
habaneros.
Yes. But
That makes
yeah,
sense.
but we do get stuck on these old stories and
Hmm.
living. So I live with my parents,
Hmm.
and living with my parents, I have
I've been trying to
seen,
move in for years, by the
she
way, just so anyone's
has, my
watching.
parents are
I'm like,
amazing.
I'm
It's
moving in by
it's
the lake,
instant
by the
entertainment
way.
24/7. Like my parents are hilarious. I see all aspects of myself through them and I see my future too. In a way, I'm like, okay, well, let's detour here. But anyway, but my dad is such a picky eater. Like we can't even tell him what we put in things. And so he'll every once in a while, like I'll make something and we'll kind of hide from him what it is and just let him try it. And he's like, oh, this isn't bad. And then he finds out what it is. And he's like, I don't like it. I'm like, whatever. But I had created this own inner
Love it.
monologue based on growing up. Like I have a
Hmm.
sensitive stomach like my dad, so I must follow my dad's dietary. Let me tell you, my dad buys cakes, ho-hos, Twinkies, ding dongs cookies, candy. I'm like, Dad, like, I need you to not buy chocolate this week. Like, I need you to not, because it's too hard for me to resist
Yeah.
sometimes, you know? So
Yes.
anyway, back to business. The more you know
No
yourself, the
self-control.
more,
I'm like,
yeah,
I don't eat sweets
I
until it's in
don't,
the house. And then I'm like,
yeah.
there's a problem.
Queso really is. I kind of blame you for my queso obsession because I don't know if you've known this, but since I've gotten back to Arizona, like queso is my snack of choice a lot of times. Like I buy
Yeah.
jars of it. I'm like,
No,
stop it.
jars are not the same as mine, Sarah.
They're not, but I just haven't tried to cook. I'm not going to tell myself I can't cook. I haven't tried to cook
Okay.
your recipe, but
All
maybe
right. All
it's
right.
something I might do. But
Yeah. I should
okay,
definitely
so
teach
I
you.
want to know business wise, um, somebody like me, you know where I'm at, you know my progress, you know what is I love your five steps too. I started watching that this morning.
Mhm.
I've only been on one, so you may have gold in the rest of it. But when you're trying to prioritize, what
Mhm.
is the first priority in your
Mm.
business?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think your first priority, depending on where you are in your business, but I always go with income producing activities. So
Mm,
what are income producing activities for your business? Let's just answer that
that's
question. So
good.
if you think about your business, answer the question. What are the income producing activities? Uh-huh.
Mm,
That's my
mm. She
winky
knows my
winks.
weakness. She knows my weakness. Income, that would be getting out and mingling,
Mm-hmm.
networking. It would definitely be making myself known.
Yeah.
Full,
You guys, people don't
full,
know that you're a
yeah,
coach or that you have a
no.
product or a service until you tell them that you have a product
They
or a
don't.
service or a business to help them.
I
You
have
have to
been
tell them.
working. I've been working on on
They're
my
not going to
mindset
ask.
around this
They're just thinking they're
because
going to think you're a really
I
nice girl in Kentucky.
I know, I know. This is the one thing. It's not so much resistant as it is like I understand
Yeah.
this is a fear of success coming up for me because I know the
Mhm.
income producing activities are going to produce the income and I'm afraid of it. So I'm working through it because I
Yeah.
really like my cushy little life with mom and dad
Yeah.
and getting to do things. And I have recently realized that I've been holding myself back on this because I needed that comfort after extreme years of
Mhm.
pressure and stuff. Um, but now that I recognize this, it's a fresh day, it's a fresh week, it's a new place. So getting out there again is my next one. But also too, so we had mentioned the workbooks that I'm writing. And it evolved from remember I was working on a main workbook that was going to be like a 6-week course.
Mhm.
And that was just going to be it. It was just going to be a workbook to go along with the course. And then this workbook, the first chapter is now over 200 pages. Yes, it wind up evolving so
Remember you
much
asking me
bigger.
to edit it.
I know, yeah. And then
I
I've
was
gone
like,
and
oh my
re-edited
gosh.
it. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
putting that out would be my
That's your
income producing
passion.
activity.
That's
But
right.
yes,
Yeah.
because
And even
this
telling
part
people
of
that
the
you are in the process of creating it
I
is
know.
another huge income producing activity. Because a lot of us get in this creation mode and we create and create behind walls with doors shut. Nobody's watching and nobody knows. Nobody knows that it's even available
Mhm.
or it's coming or how to order it, right? And it could be anything. Even for myself as a coach, like I could sit here and just read books all day long and come up with courses and come up with tools, but unless I get out there and start talking to people and sharing my knowledge and my skills and my abilities to be able to help somebody with theirs, then no one's going to know about it. No one's going to be able to take action. So those are your income producing activities.
So
It's
what would
talking about.
you say to okay, so I'm working on this workbook and I keep thinking I'm near ready, but it's not ready. And the perfectionist in me that's trying to break free. So how would I go about, I guess, putting it out there when I feel it's not ready, it's
Yeah.
not at its best, and I don't have the links yet for
Yeah.
payment? Like, what would be your
Yeah.
process of that if it's still being, how would you do that?
Well, immediately I would go to your Stripe or your PayPal and create a product and make it available now. Next step would be, hey, it's in beta form. Get it into the hands of 5 to 10 people that can go through it and read it and make sure it's applied to their life. Like if there's a woman that's going, give me an example of a woman that this would be really good for. I
So
don't want to come up
this
with it.
this one that I'm launching now that's over 200 pages, this is really about the getting to know yourself, but through the lens of I firmly I firmly believe myself, going through this process of transformation for 6 years and the last 3 years that I've been through, and I wasn't ready to state what I wanted or know what I wanted until I had so much of the conditioning expelled, like
Yeah.
learning those skills. So this is for the woman that wants to really get to know herself without the lens of judgment
Yeah.
and removing that lens. This is for you to really see where your identity and your worthiness come from,
Mm-hmm.
going through conditioning, limiting beliefs, facing your fears,
Mm-hmm.
the 4 fear responses, and then coming through with compassion and
And it's
forgiveness.
a
There's,
guide, right? So you're going to
it
walk
is,
us through this process of
it
how,
is
of we know
a,
it's an uncomfortable space, and you're going to help us
yes,
get through this by the activity, by
yes,
the accountability of this guide, correct?
yes.
Okay.
So it's written now in sections. So it's now, and I've added on, of course. Each
Mm-hmm.
section is only meant to be done in either a one to day, one to week period because the
Okay.
sections are so detailed.
Gotcha.
So we go through your early childhood, we go through your social
Mhm.
influences, we
Yeah.
go through your family and friends, and we go through your environment, which are 4 huge factors that influence who you are today and how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
So just like, I don't know if you caught the first of this, those of you who are watching, yesterday I was feeling really low because I'm about to be 40 in 4 months. I live at home with my parents and all these things. And I was like, today I was like, how can I shift that?
Mm-hmm.
But it's important. It was important for me to know first, what is it that I love about my present? But there was
Yeah.
a time when I couldn't tell you that because I literally was led from everyone else.
Mm.
So when I started seeing those social conditionings, those family influences, and there are times that even my parents and my boyfriend, they don't understand what I do
Mm-hmm.
because they have those biases and conditionings. And I'm like, I just
Yeah.
have to stay in my lane and keep going.
Yeah.
So when you get to really know and understand the decisions you make now, and when you feel like you've made decisions that always turn out wrong, that always end up when you tell yourself over and over that nothing ever works out, or people don't get me, or I just seem weird, those are stories you're telling yourself
Mm-hmm.
based on beliefs that are hidden deep inside of
Yeah.
you. So until you can recover those, you can't rewrite the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And that is what this
Yeah.
workbook is about facing those old wounds and stories
Mm.
so that you can rewrite your story.
Mm. I love that. And I think that that's so important right now because I just had a call last week actually with somebody, and she was telling me that, over 20 years of being in a relationship, she was never felt smart enough or made to feel
Mhm.
confident, or that she
Oh,
made the right decisions, or she was helpful at all in her relationship. And so now here she is in her probably early 40s, and she's at the point where she's like trying to add value with somebody else, and she's like, I don't know if I have the confidence to do that. I don't know how to find the
mm,
confidence. So it's so important to be able to figure that out and where you are, because there's some things that I'm really confident in, but if you ask me to change a tire, I am passing the ball to whoever knows how to do it. Okay.
hello, Dad. My dad's a retired
Not
mechanic,
my
so that's
thing,
what I'm like.
right?
I had a flat
Yeah.
tire and I had to figure it out for myself a couple of weeks ago. It's so funny that you said that.
Yeah.
So, with that, there's a couple of things that I want to say about confidence
Mm-hmm.
because confidence can be portrayed in so many different ways. And sometimes confidence has that ego, vanity
Mm-hmm.
mindset where people think,
Yeah.
if I'm being too overly confident in myself, I'm being
Ooh.
vain. And there
I actually
comes,
got turned
yes.
down because I was told I was being too cocky in a job when I was in my
See?
early 20s because I was too confident.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I
So
didn't know
there,
how to do the job. I just knew I had to be really confident that I could do the job.
I know we have to battle this line of we have to seem confident and we have to seem
Mm,
secure, but we also have to
yeah.
diminish and downplay. And so at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it comes down to knowing what you're worth for one, and worth
Mm-hmm.
can be more than money. I had to really change my mindset around this worth because worth always incremented a dollar amount to me, but it
Yeah.
became I'm worth my time. I'm worth my being able to pee throughout the day. And I know many of us struggle with this. And I just went through pelvic floor rehabilitation
Yeah.
for bladder leakage. And
Yeah.
I'm sharing this because it's embarrassing, but also because I spent decades ignoring my own body when I had to go pee
Yes,
because the pressure to hustle and perform for somebody else was
for
there.
sure.
I'm like, why am I not stopping to go pee? And
Oh yeah,
the detriment
I
now, like
struggle
I
with
haven't even had a
this,
child
and I'm
and
like,
I'm in pelvic therapy. She was like,
yeah,
But anyways,
yeah.
so yes,
I'm
confidence,
so busy
confidence
sometimes I don't
comes.
even want to stop what I'm doing to get up and go pee. It's all the
Yes, that.
time. It's
Yeah.
all the
And
time.
think,
It's so bad.
and we're supposed to drink half of our weight in water
Self care
and
and
not go
business, you
pee.
guys, mixing the two
Yeah.
together. This is the
Yes.
thing, right?
So I am the one that's going to say, hey, listen to yourself.
Yeah.
If you have to go pee, go pee. It will be there when you come back. Same for eating. How many of us have skipped meals
Oh yeah.
to get jobs done or
Yep.
snacked?
We start our
Um,
day with coffee instead of actually food in our stomach or our vitamins to help it give us the energy and get us reeling and going. Right now, I actually did eat food this morning, but then I had my coffee.
I have been,
But it
if
was,
you notice,
it,
I keep
yeah,
like going back and forth. I have a glass of water and I have my coffee. And I have been trying to at least take a sip of water, if not like a whole half glass before I have my coffee, just to kind of help.
mm,
I don't know if it'll help in the long run, but we'll see.
there you go.
But back to confidence and priorities. So when you start to know yourself and you feel confident in those things, you show that you are able to perform the tasks.
Yeah.
And if somebody is overwhelmed or intimidated by your confidence, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
We have to learn not to take
That's
things so
so
personally.
true, Sarah, because I literally dumbed myself down for interviews moving forward after that one. And I was told, "Oh, well, you're too," and it was somebody who was in the department. The person who I interviewed with never actually told me this even years later when we became friends. But it was in
Hmm.
the department. The rumor was going around that I was too confident and too cocky that I could get the job done. And from then on, I always remembered moving into every other interview that I went on to make sure I downplayed it. I
And
downplayed it.
what could have been happening, and this isn't me trying to play devil's advocate, but in reality, that person could have been very intimidated by your skills and level that they
Yeah.
themselves felt that they couldn't rise to meet
Yeah.
you. And so, see, it
Yeah.
has nothing to do with you. When you stay in your
It's
lane
true.
of knowing what you're worth and knowing what you bring to the table
Yeah.
and truly loving it with all the passion you have
Yeah.
and not take things personally. This is a hard one. We only have control of ourselves. And this is
Yeah.
something that I have to remind myself every day because I'm a control
Perfect.
freak.
Yeah.
But I can only control myself, my responses, my reactions, my thoughts,
Hmm.
my beliefs, my behaviors, anything head to toe, internally, externally. It's all me,
Yeah.
just the same for you.
Yeah.
And though I want people to, you know, behave in a certain way. Oh, I heard this one of the reels this other day. He was like, I practiced this conversation in my head and you did not respond with the answers that I had prepared for you. And I
Yeah.
just loved that. I was like, oh my gosh, how many times have we had this huge
Yeah.
running monologue
Oh,
in
I
our
love
heads
this
that
video
we
today. It's
build
so good.
up? And
Mm-hmm.
it really is. We create this scenario in our head of,
Hmm.
hey, this is going to happen this way, and they're going to say this, and I'm going to say
Oh,
this, and this is how it's
yeah.
going to end. And then you say the first line that
Yeah.
you've prepared, and nothing else goes as planned.
Yeah. And that's exactly, let me spin this really quick because this is exactly why I'm telling you with your income producing activities, go create the product, go get 5 to 10 people to actually purchase your beta product, give you feedback. Because if you wait another
Yeah.
month to make it perfect, someone's going to come back in a month from now and say, hey, you should add this or tweak this, or I don't understand this. Can you add more to it? And you now just waited another month versus doing it today and then and perfecting it a little bit
Ooh,
more in a month and then
I
tweaking it again in
love
a month.
that.
So do it
I love
today. Don't
that. I
keep pushing
love
it off. There's nothing else that is going to be more perfect today. Yes, everything can be better. Everything can always be better no matter what it is. Somebody will pick it apart and tell you you can do it better. But
Yeah.
guess what? Their opinion doesn't really matter unless they're the one who's actually going through the course and saying, hey, I need help with this. I don't
Mhm.
understand this. Fill in the gaps for me so I'm successful in whatever I'm buying from you or taking from you or learning from you, etc. Their opinion
So
matters. All the other
me trying to spend like another 3 hours numbering the pages to keep myself from, putting the product. I love that. Okay.
I
So
don't need
I know what
numbered
I'm doing the rest
pages.
of the
What I
day.
need is the
Yeah.
information in the book. The numbered pages is not going to help me figure out who I am.
Yes, that's so true. And that is something that we talked about this last week. I was like, but I got to figure out how to get all the numbers on the pages, but I have to figure out the order first. So those little blocks, I love that. I love that. Thank you for that.
You could launch
We could do
this
this all day.
out like one module at a time. You don't even have to go all of the modules at once. You could literally just take module one, get it out this week, and then module two next week.
Oh, I totally
Hey,
could because module one, I have done one,
and that's
two, and
beta.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm like, I want it all to be this way. But you're right,
I know.
because when you're working on the workbook, you're not even going to get to section 4 until probably 3, 4 months from now anyway.
Exactly. So get
Love
out
it.
what it is because I know there's so many women who need this like now. There's so many women. They're not even on this live right now, but I know that they need this. So get it out there. Okay, so let's put a little bow on this because we
Okay.
can do this all day long. But
Oh,
let's make sure that
oh,
we have
totally
something
good.
scheduled and come back again because I bet people are going to want to tune in and learn more about how all this self care
That.
business. So
Yeah.
let's make sure that we have something else scheduled coming up really soon. Maybe even next Monday. Maybe we should do Mondays. I like this idea.
I like Mondays too. Next Monday's Memorial Day, so I'm totally fine with that. I don't think I have anything planned for the day, so
It's a day for me. I'll see you
um,
Monday,
sounds good.
Monday morning.
Thank you all for thank you for having
But before
me.
you before you
Mhm.
go though, how can people find you and get what you're putting out into the world? Because you've got something and it's coming. So what's the best way for them to contact you and get in touch with you right now?
So I am Sara, Sara. I'm a no H. I'm a no H. Sara Fowler Coaching. That's my social media. I also have a website, sarafowlercoaching.life, Life. There is a wait list right now it was originally called Unpacked Emotional Baggage, which the title has changed, but it will be the workbook that's coming out. So if
Mm,
you wanted to go ahead and be on the wait list for that and start getting the first, second, or third chapters downloaded to you and start communicating about that, absolutely. At Sara Fowler Coaching, that's me.
perfect. And if for some reason you're like, who was that girl that was on there with you again? And I want to talk to her, just reach out to me and I'll connect you to Sarah. So we're attached all day long.
Yes,
But
we
it's been so great to have
are.
you here. I can't wait to have you again because this
Thank you,
conversation
Sam.
could keep going. This is good. I hope there's some really good nuggets in here. People can I know it was long, but I hope that they can just pick them out and use them the best way possible.
Thank
So
you so
you're
much. You
welcome.
all have a wonderful day. Happy Monday.
Bye.
Bye.